to Griffon Update Sports, a student-produced show all about Missouri Western athletics. We've got it all every week. Highlights, games, players, fans, and every sport all year long.
Welcome to this semester's final Griffon Update Sports. I'm your host, Bailey Ketchum.
And I'm Gannon Cornley. On today's show, we're going to wrap up this fall sports season.
We'll talk to players and coaches from soccer, football, and cross country.
We'll also have our usual roundtable discussion about a hot sports topic.
This week's topic, we're going to discuss which sport we think creates the best athlete.
Man, that's a tough one. First up, men and women's cross country in their first record-setting season at Missouri Western. Reporter Morgan Doyle has more on the team.
The Missouri Western cross country team wrapped up their inaugural season at the NCAA Regional in Kearney, Nebraska. Head coach Mark Bierbaum built his 30-man roster with runners ready to make history, and they did just that. Competing in 6 meets, the Griffons made their mark. But as any coach would, Bierbaum expected bumps in the road for this first-year program.
The ups and downs that I expected happened. I expected to have some tough times here and there, just trying to get it done, get through trying to figure out practices and just all the new kids and the routines and all that. I expected the ups and downs of that. So yes, and race-wise, we ran well. We had some good meets, had some rough times, but it was good.
With an entire group of new faces being thrown together, the group bonded and came together as a team very quickly.
Just the instant connection everyone had with everyone, like the team chemistry and the team cohesion really, we all came together as a team and a family really quickly.
And with 24 of 30 runners on the team being freshmen, there are high expectations for the next 4 years.
Definitely want to win the conference and definitely want to be in the top 3 at the regional meet and hopefully make it to a national meet. And by my senior year, I would like to win a national title.
However, junior Caitlin Shoemaker had experience and had a standout season this fall, placing 3rd in the MIAA conference meet and 13th in the NCAA regional, earning the first conference and regional medals in school history.
I'm going to take what I learned from cross season and apply it to track season. That way I can just continue progressing.
The women's team left a lasting impression from the very first meet, and both men and women have bright futures in this program.
The ladies winning the very first meet made it even more special, I think, for me. That's going to be a moment that will sit with me for a very, very long time. It's going to be there's going to be great things during track season, I'm sure, but that's pretty darn special. It's the first time turning around a boy or girl in the band, individually and the meet, so that's pretty sweet. The pieces are here. You do some really fun things. They do some pretty special things. I think the athletes, the talent, personalities, they're here to do some special things. I feel really good about the future of that. Sky's the limit.
Morgan Doyle, Griffon Update Sports.
Man, we go 100 yards, they go 3 miles. I can't wait to see how their program grows in the next seasons.
After this break, we'll talk to the football team about how their season went.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
While the season didn't pan out the way they hoped, the new head coach built a foundation that should have success in the future. Reporter Tanner Cobb has more on the team.
As Missouri Western's football season has come to an end, we look back at certain players' journeys as Griffons.
Time here at Griffon, it's been a blast, ever since I came in, that summer of 2013, I always said I had, set good plans, had a plan set through, my 5 years here. And I just felt like I just ran through so fast, I thought yesterday was put on the pass for, fall camp.
It's been the biggest roller coaster. It's been a great time. There's been times where we've been frustrated and times where I've been sad, but overall it was just a great experience.
It was amazing. I was comfortable coming in, and a bunch of people told me, like, go to a place that you know a bunch of people where you feel at home. And I knew Mike Jordan, Sam Brown, and so many others that I had my own friends rather than knowing the people that my brother introduced me to. So with that being the case, I felt like this was the place that I needed to be.
One thing I've taken away is, you can't take time for granted at all. You gotta live in the moment and enjoy those moments, and because it goes by so fast and you don't really realize it until it's already gone.
I feel like I've learned so much, like through preparation, because at first it was just go to practice, go through motions, and then just play football because you were bigger and faster just as the top athletes throughout high school. And then you come to college, and it's so much more about preparation, going to meetings, film sessions, and just being a part of like taking care of your body. So
most memorable moment will probably be my first start as a safety here. We were playing UCM, and I just remember having those jitters.
When we beat Northwest for the conference championship, and I was a red shirt, so I was in the stands, and there was a bunch of softball players around me, and it was like, we just let another one go. And I was telling everybody around me, like, no, it's not over. I can visualize everybody rushing the field. We're gonna win this game. And it comes down to the final seconds, and I rushed the field, and I was ready to be a part of this family. Like, I was all bought in at that moment. I'll never forget that moment, rushing the field.
Really, what's next? Obviously, I want to, attempt, train for pro day, start that up, give that a shot. If it works out, it works out. It's definitely been a dream. That's why I kind of gave up all my other sports to play football. So definitely want to try pro day, start training for that after Thanksgiving and on through to March.
What's next now is prepare for the pro day, give myself the best opportunity to broadcast myself to other teams and try and figure out my best fit. And after football's done, I kind of want to do my own performance training thing and have my own facility at some point and just live life.
I'm going to go train in Florida and come back and prepare for the pro day. I got a bowl game invite through the Dream Bowl, so I'm going to take that opportunity and play January 15th in Virginia, Salem, Virginia, and see what the future holds from there.
This is Tanner Cobb reporting from Griffon Update Sports.
I love hearing from those guys. I can't wait for next season.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a great one.
Wait, we can't forget about the best sport.
Which is that?
Soccer, duh.
Of course. Soccer had a record-breaking season this fall and made their first appearance in the national tournament. I recently had a chance to talk to the team about their season.
No, it's a special season. We accomplished a lot of our goals, and just really proud of the players, and all credit to them for all their hard work and dedication to the program and belief in what we're doing. And it's just a special group that had a great mentality all season, and training was fun. Obviously, the games are always fun, but leading up to the games was just, every week was fun, and it was just a great group to be a part of, and really proud of all of them. And they set those goals for themselves, and it's one thing to talk about them, and it's a whole other thing to go out and accomplish them. And our dreams came true this year. We won that playoff game and made the MIAA conference tournament, and then eventually qualified for the national tournament, and that's not easy to do. So all credit to our players and our staff. It's just a special group of people to be around, and I always look back on this 2017 season with a big smile on my face, and just for the players and what they accomplished. Just seniors, thank you for everything you've done for our program. What a special group of people. Most importantly, just great people. Obviously, great soccer players, awesome students as well, and just great ambassadors in our community. The ultimate package that we're looking for in a Griffon soccer player. Those seniors are that, and I'm so thankful that I was able to coach them for 4 years and be a part of their life and watch them come in as freshmen and develop into the seniors that they are, and graduating and all the things that they've accomplished in between there. It's so cool. Those memories will last forever. And for the players that are returning, let's go make these seniors proud. Let's go ahead and take that next step, and let's be hungry, and let's be really focused in on what we need to do to get better as a group, and let's not be satisfied and think that this is just going to happen again, because you got to go out and earn it every single year. And so let's stay hungry. Let's make sure that we don't take this season for granted and just assume that it's going to happen, going forward. We've got to go out and earn it every single day and have that same strong mentality that we did throughout the course of this season. Let's go have that for the next 9 months so we can come back better and stronger and even more united as we go into the 2018 season.
I think the team chemistry was there. We had no issues, and with girls teams, that's hard. It's hard not to have issues, and we dealt with adversity. We had injuries, but every single player was positive, and we worked hard, and we had passion from the day we stepped on the field, and I think that's the difference than the past years. Honestly, it didn't hit me that we were actually at the NCAA tournament until I stepped on that field, and once I stepped on that field, it was a surreal feeling. I dreamed about that moment the day I came here. We have never made it to the conference tournament, and making it to the NCAA tournament was a big thing. I mean, I loved every moment of it, and I hope they continue that on for the next coming years. I honestly would tell them that anything is possible, and they just need to put in the work, and it's hard. I mean, being a student athlete, it's not easy, but it pays off.
I think it was a lot of team chemistry and also a lot of seniority on the team. We brought in a lot of newcomers, but at the same time, we also are graduating a lot of seniors who contributed to this team and who've been with this program for a long time and helped grow this program. And I think that's one of the biggest things is having that leadership, seniority, and good team chemistry all around. It was really cool. It was super exciting, and I think it was a really good experience for everyone, not just the newcomers, but even the seniors. That was something that we had always hoped to make that achievement, and we were able to make that a reality. But for the freshmen and the sophomores, the younger kids, they have a taste of that, and I think they're gonna push hard for it every year to make that national tournament again.
Congrats on the season, ladies. I'm sure next year they'll continue to break even more records.
Gannon, it's always nice to hear from our sports fans, so we decided to give Missouri Western students a chance to give their opinions on the latest sports news. Check out what they had to say.
What sport do you think produces the best athlete?
I would have to say basketball, just because you have to be able to be quick with both your hands and your feet.
I'll probably say football, just starting off. With football, you got to be able to run fast, you got to be able to jump high, you got to be able to throw, you got to be able to catch, hand-eye coordination. I think it involves all the essential skills you need in order to be a good athlete.
I'd have to say basketball, because it builds toughness.
It has to be football, because you have to have multiple attributes to play football. Speed, strength, IQ, but football you have to really be tough for real.
So what sport do you like to watch the most here on campus, and why?
I'm really excited to watch both the basketball team, just because I know a lot of people on the teams, and I think they both have a lot of potential for this upcoming season.
Basketball, I think basketball is the my most liked sport to watch here, just because for one it's warm, and for two I like to see the guys run around and play.
Right now I would have to say volleyball.
Why volleyball?
They've come a long way. I've been here for 3 years, and this year is something special. It's just really fun to watch. It's really fun to see them get so excited, get really into their emotions, and it's just a really cool sport to learn.
I have to say basketball, just because I'm familiar with both of the men and women.
My favorite sports to watch here on campus is definitely basketball, whether it's men or women. I just like to see the competitive nature, the skill and all the work they put into the sport, or whether it's hitting a big-time game-winning three or making a big-time dunk on a fast break. I just love the sport of basketball.
And that is going to conclude this week's edition of Question of the Week. For Griffon Update, this has been Bo Baker.
Once again, thanks, Bo. We'll be back to discuss the topic in more detail with our Sports Roundtable after this.
At Missouri Western, it's on us.
It's on us, all of us, to take responsibility and stop sexual assault.
To create a campus environment where everyone is safe and feels safe.
To realize that ending sexual assault is not an individual endeavor,
but a collective effort.
To understand that it affects not only students, but faculty and staff members alike.
At Missouri Western,
We take action.
It's on us to look out for each other and not look the other way.
We step up and say something.
We support survivors. We are going to be a part of the solution and not the problem.
It's on us to intervene and take responsibility.
So take action because we can and will make a difference.
At Missouri Western,
It's on us
to put an end to sexual assault.
Begin by taking the pledge at itsonus.org.
Gannon and I are here along with Griffon News sports editor Derek Zimmerman-Geyer to talk about a hot sports topic. This week, we're discussing which sport we think creates the best athlete. Your thoughts?
Well, for one, I may be a little biased, but I think I have to go with football. I think football players are extremely talented. I think that they have to use an excessive amount of strength, agility, speed, and conditioning. And I think that when you add all four of those things up, I think football kind of comes out on top.
Well, to counter your biased opinion, I too will be biased, and I will say collegiate and Olympic wrestling. Now, wrestling is a combat sport. It is mono, so there's not a team to support you. It's one guy against the other. And I kind of think of it as a very physical game of chess. You got to think like 2 to 3 steps ahead of your opponent because, they're trained to counter your counters, so you just got to think ahead of them. And it not only sharpens you physically, but mentally. Now, their conditioning is insane. They train hours upon hours upon hours. Just go 7 minutes in a match. Yeah. So even after a grueling match, they're not even tired really. And they're freak athletes. Ben Askren from Mizzou was a 2-time NCAA champ and he was Olympian. And now he's a former MMA fighter and he won a championship there and he's retired now. So it's a tender age of 33? He's retired, he's got a lot of money. All came from wrestling. And a few other athletes that wrestled, pretty well-known athletes. Former Falcons wide receiver Roddy White wrestled in college. Ray Lewis, Adam Vinatieri. So Dan Gable said once you wrestled, everything is easy. So when I'm sitting there at 4 a.m. and I'm thinking, do I want to be writing this paper or do I want to be losing 10 pounds in one day? I'll take writing the story.
Well, yeah, wrestling is definitely a difficult sport. But I would say gymnastics. You have to be so strong to be able to compete in gymnastics, to do the stunts and do all the flips that they do. I mean, they're spinning on a bar. They do a couple spins, they flip up in the air, and then they grab the bar again. I would never be able to do that. And the preparation that they have to do is insane. I've known past gymnasts and they're there every day, for extended periods of time. And the preparation is crazy. Your agility, your endurance, it has to be at an all-time high. So I would say gymnastics.
I think you made some really good points. I think gymnastics is really one of the hardest things to do, and that was kind of what I had going into one of my hardest sports. Although I think football is extremely hard and you have to be a really great athlete, I think swimming and going into your point, MMA is what I had written down for one of my hardest sports to do. I think MMA, just like you said, the mono thing, it's me versus you. I think it takes a special type of person to go into a ring or a cage with one other person and say, I refuse to lose, there's nothing gonna stop me. The amount of training that goes into it, the running, the conditioning, I think MMA and swimming for that matter, honestly, are really hard.
I think the hardest sport in general, it doesn't really consist of just one, but anything that consists of one-on-one, because there's a lot of mental play in there. Because especially MMA, you're going into a cage filled with thousands of fans, you got music playing, you're on pay-per-view. There's a lot of stress there. People don't really sit back and think, this guy's just out here to fight. No, he's back there, this is how he makes a living, and if he gets rocked, that might be it for him. And with, there's a lot of other sports like tennis around Wembley Stadium, a bunch of fans, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I mean, since you were biased, I'm going to be biased. And I would say that soccer is also a very difficult sport, and it creates some very good athletes. It's a lot of running, at times almost as much running as track. But it's a lot of running, and you have to be really strong so you don't get pushed off the ball, and you have to have a high amount of skill to be able to move around and get around players, and your endurance has to be at an all-time high as well, because if it's not, then the first 10 minutes you're going to be gassed and it's done after that.
I will say after wrestling conditioning, you can play any sport.
Really? I might have to try that then, I guess.
I think one sport we also didn't talk about is basketball. I think basketball, along with football, I think you have to talk about just the amount of endurance and change of direction. Basketball is just much like soccer, a bunch of up and down. Have to be seriously skillful, a lot of running. Have to be strong. Can't get fouled, or you can get knocked off the ball as well in basketball to an extent. So I think basketball is also one you kind of have to look at.
Yeah.
Wrestling it prepares you for everything. Like, life's gonna hit you hard, and once you get hit on the mat, when you get suplexed onto the mat and you're sitting there thinking, can I do this? And you're in 10 years, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, this paper's due.
I don't think I'd be able to do wrestling. I think that's a sport that I probably wouldn't try. I probably wouldn't try gymnastics either, because, I can't even do a cartwheel, so doing flips in the air, that kind of scares me. But probably one of the most difficult sports, I think, is swimming. Like, you have to have, swimmers, I think they probably have the best bodies on earth. Kudos to them. But, you have to worry about keeping your body up, the endurance, holding your breath, and you're racing as well. The strength for that is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, at Missouri Western, what sport would you guys say is your favorite to watch?
Well, since I don't get the liberty of watching my own sports and I get to play, I definitely would say basketball. I've already been to some games this year. They're a lot of fun. A lot of students come out and watch the games, and I just love the atmosphere.
I would say softball. They are not only successful, but they're exciting. Since 2012, they are 238 and 101. That's insane. Yeah. Coach Bagley has done a great job, and this is her 17th season coming in. And in her, now 17 seasons, she has 2 MIAA tournament championships, regular season championships, 10 NCAA regional appearances, and 12 31 seasons.
Wow.
That type of consistency, that's crazy. And when I started the newspaper last semester in the spring, and I got their beat, and I would go watch their games, they're just exciting every game. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of action that happened in those games. But I would agree with you. I would say basketball. For most of the games, I sit on the court and I'm filming the games, and I'm up close in the action. And there's so much passion and aggression at the same time, and I just love it. And the skill that you have to have. I used to play basketball. I wasn't the best, because it was difficult when you played soccer and basketball, because fouls aren't the same. But basketball is always so intense, and there's always something happening. So I would have to say basketball as well.
Another thing about softball is it kind of goes along with baseball too. I think baseball players and softball players, they have this type of swagger in the dugout. Like, there's constant cheering and heckling going on, and when they're hot and they're going, and there's all this all this charisma running through all of them, all this energy, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I wish on the sidelines for soccer, I wish we had that same type of energy. They have a fun little dugout and an area to be, but I wish we had that intensity, and they're always so positive and always cheering. I love that. After this break, we'll take a look at more results from sports and this week's upcoming sporting events. Welcome back. Before we end the show, we want to give you more updates about what's going on with all the sports.
Men's basketball traveled to Arkansas last weekend, but didn't get the results they wanted with a loss to Southeastern Oklahoma State and Arkansas Fort Smith. Women's basketball had an exciting weekend at home with 2 wins over University of St. Mary and Rutgers.
Volleyball travels to Minnesota Thursday for the first round of the Central Regional Tournament against Nebraska Kearney. Men's basketball returns home to face Central Oklahoma on Thursday at 7:30 and Northeastern State on Saturday at 4. Women's basketball is also home against Central Oklahoma on Thursday at 5:30 and Northeastern State on Saturday at 2.
That's all we have for you today. For more information on Griffon Athletics, check out gogriffons.com. Also, check out Bailey's Sports Report on Griffon Update next week.
We've got you covered every week. Oh wait, this is our last show of the semester. But we'll be back next semester starting in late January. From all of us here at Griffon Update Sports, Thank you for watching.